You can only do your best. I know that sounds like a very simple statement, and you're probably looking for something a lot more in-depth than that. And I'll get into it, but I just want to start by saying you can only do your best. Forget about all this advice that you see online, all this self-improvement content, life advice. In fact, don't take what I say seriously. Take whatever I'm telling you even with a pinch of salt. Because haven't you ever wondered why it's easier to give advice than to take it? It's easy when someone is in a relationship dilemma to be like, this is exactly what you should do. Dump that guy. It doesn't deserve you. Break up with him. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But when it comes to you, there are nuances, right? There's all these intricacies of the details in your relationship that just doesn't make it black or white. Exactly. That's exactly why you should take advice online, even from your friends and family, with a pinch of salt. And that's exactly why you can only do your best. Don't be so hard on yourself. So let's get into it. Why do I think we overthink? What is this overthinking, and why does it take such a big toll on us, on our mental health, on our lives? Why is it so hard to be content with where you are right now? Why do we always get this FOMO, always think that someone else somewhere? I've made a video about this very recently, how everything is not what it seems. Why do we feel like other people are doing it better than us, or other people have it better than us, or other people know exactly what they're doing, but we're just stuck in this midlife, quarter life, crisis, and unsure about every single decision that we make? I think for the mere fact that you're even considering your life decisions so carefully already puts you ahead of so many people. It sounds cliche, but you going online to say how to get fit and how to be healthy and how to do this better already literally puts you ahead by just making that move. I know that Googling things and watching videos is not necessarily taking action, but it's a first step. They say when you want to, get over like some kind of addiction, say alcohol addiction, the first stage is admitting you have a problem. In the same way, in the same breath, the first stage of, trying to be better at anything, or trying to improve your life, or trying to just make the right decision and do better and be better, is just admitting that you're not where you want to be, or there is more or better that you can do. So I think the reason why we overthink is because we're actually smarter than we think. We have the mental capacity to consider multiple situations. I'll give you an example. I heard this on a podcast recently, how the test of your knowledge, it's a weird one. People who think that they know actually don't know as much as people that know that they don't know. I'm going to say that again because I think I've even confused myself. People who think they know everything tend to be the ones who know the least, compared to people that are very aware that they don't know everything, or they actually might know more, but they have this insecurity that they don't know enough because they're smart enough to know the constraints, the limits of their knowledge. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. But in a way, you overthinking about your problems is actually kind of a good thing, because you're able to, one, realize exactly where you are in comparison to where you want to be, and you're able to then consider all these multiple factors, all these multiple ways where you can help yourself improve your life or be better and do better. So overthinking is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, where it becomes a problem is when you start to ruin the quality of your life. For example, something bad hasn't happened, but you've considered all the multiple ways you can fail at something. It's fine to go for an interview and on your way there say, right, I could, all these things could go wrong, and then try to find ways where all those things could go right. Try and fix them ahead of time. Try and prepare for questions you can get during your interview. That's a good thing. That's a good overthinking to do. But the bad overthinking is when you've gone to the interview now, you've finished it, and then for a whole week before you get a response back, you're reminiscing and killing yourself and literally ruining the rest of your week, thinking about what you could have or should have done or said. That is the bad overthinking. So that's my lesson number 1. An overthinker's guide to help you stop overthinking. Make a decision and just stick by it. Whether or not it turns out to be the best decision for you, whether or not you come to regret it, the only way you can trust yourself and trust your gut and your instinct is literally by starting to trust yourself and your guts and your instincts. It's the same thing with confidence. The only way to be confident is to be confident. And the more you're confident and the more competence you build in yourself, the more competence you gain in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, is the more confident you are. It's the same thing about making decisions. To help you stop overthinking, you have to learn to accept whatever decision you've made. Stand by it. Stand on business. Make a decision and stick by it. Because all these people out here giving you life advice, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. I'm going to get into more detail with this, actually. Let's talk about it. It's so much easier to give advice than to take it. I'll give you a relationship dilemma. I mentioned that earlier. I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more now. If, I'm trying to think of a specific scenario. If someone has been on 2 dates with a guy or a girl and communication has died down, I'm talking about this because it's actually personal experience. The advice I would give my friend, the advice you will probably give your friend is, he's not interested in you anymore, right? He's not interested in you anymore. Clearly, if communication has died down, the guy's attention is now diverted. Maybe there's someone else in his life. It's kind of the most rational, logical answer to why has he stopped texting as much as he used to. But you, who is the person that's experiencing this in their life, you will tend to make excuses for that boy or that girl. Oh, maybe he's really busy. Oh, maybe he lost his phone. Maybe he's on holiday, doesn't have internet. Whereas someone else from the outside, they see it so much clearer. That's because when you're not in the situation, it's so easy to walk someone through life when it's their life. But when it's your life, there's all these nuances, there's all these emotions. We're not robots. There's emotions to consider. There's real feelings that get in between everything, that get into, and you can't think straight. Your decisions are not rational anymore because we're not robots. We have feelings, and feelings influence our behavior, and feelings influence our decisions and what we do, and literally everything that we do, we kind of do emotionally. So I say this to say, whenever you make a decision, even if it turns out to be the wrong one, you made that decision at the time with all the knowledge that you have. Just because even if the decision you made, someone else had advised you against it, but you still made it and it was a mistake, that's fine, because they can only give you advice from 1, their own point of view, and 2, their lack of emotion in your situation. They're giving you unemotional advice. You're emotional in that moment and you've made this decision based on your emotions. So you have to sit by it. You have to stand by it and just bask in whether or not this fails or succeeds. If it fails, if it doesn't fail, whether it hasn't even failed yet, but you're thinking it could fail, whatever it is, the same rule applies. You can only do the best that you can with the information that you have now and with the emotions that you're feeling now. Just make that decision and stand by it. Literally, there's been times where I have postponed booking a holiday or a train ticket somewhere because I'm not sure whether I want to go, and then get so close to the time, and then train ticket has gone up, and I'm like, I should have just booked it ages ago, and I just book it in that moment and stand by it. That time I've booked, and now I have to make it, whether or not last minute it tends to be, it becomes so uncomfortable, and it's so tight, like the schedule's so tight, and I'm struggling to make it. I've made my decision. I'm going to stand by it. Someone's calling me. Who's calling me? Oh, my sister's calling me. All right. I'll call her back. Don't think that other people have this magical way of making decisions, and other people always do the right things all the time, and other people have this infinite pool of knowledge and don't get things wrong ever. That's a lie. It's only the people that succeed that we see. It's that survival bias. It's only the people that have made the right decisions that tell you about the decisions that they've made. No one really comes out to voluntarily tell you all the bad decisions they've made in their lives and how things have gone wrong. So to help you stop overthinking, just accept your decision. Accept it. Even if it turns out to be a mistake, accept it. You've made it. You've done it now. There's nothing more you can do. And in that same breath, number 2, get comfortable with regret. Get comfortable with failure. I've made a video about this before. You're only human. You're going to fail. How arrogant of you to think you're going to go through life successfully in everything you do. You're not going to hit any roadblocks. You're not going to stumble and fall at some point in your life. How arrogant of you to think you're going to always be the smartest in the room, always make the right decisions, always do everything right, never get anything wrong, always get all the jobs, always get all the girls, all the boys. What are you on about? Stop overthinking. Besides, when you haven't taken the action yet. Remember when I said, ahead of an interview, you can think of all the possible ways it could go wrong. Yeah, prepare for it. But as soon as you've done it, as soon as you've made the decision, stop overthinking. Overthinking only helps. This might be controversial. Some people might tell you overthinking doesn't help anyone. I think it does. And I think it's smart of you to overthink. I think it means you have loads of mental capacity, a really large mental capacity. You're able to see things from, a large POV from every angle. As an overthinker, you sit down and literally overly think. You consider every single thing. It's not bad. I don't think it's actually a bad thing. But the regret that comes with making the wrong decision, you have to be comfortable with it. You have to accept it. You have to take it in and be like, I was wrong. It's hard to admit. It's me. I am the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. Whatever decision you've made, whatever mistake you've made, the regret that comes with it, accept it. Take it in. Cry if you have to. But then just let it go. I swear to God, it would help. It would help you just stop reminiscing about everything that's in the past. That, oh my God. It might even help with things in the future that is out of your control, which is number 3. Oh, that was smooth. That was a sweet and smooth transition. It's out of your control. By definition, it means you can't control it. Whatever happens in the future is out of your control. There's only so much you can do, which is again exactly why you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. You're only human after all. Don't put the blame on you. You know what I mean? You're only human. You can't possibly know it all. You know what I mean? Don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing the best that you can right now. And everything, maybe not everything, but some things will just work themselves out. Just because you tried your hardest doesn't mean you succeed. That's the irony of life. Just because you're a good person doesn't mean good things will always happen to you. It's sad, but it's true. And back to the life advice. Just because people are telling you that this is what has worked for them, and this is what has helped them, and this is exactly what you will do to save your life, and this is exactly what changed their life, the mindset that changed their lives, and oh my God, so much out there. But again, it doesn't leave room for nuances. All these like personal experiences and personal triggers that we have in our background and biases and all these things that contribute to how we react to things and how we behave, it doesn't consider that. People can only talk from the limit of their knowledge and their experiences. When it comes to them, common sense goes out the window. They can give you advice, but when it comes to them, common sense goes out the window because emotions get involved. There's so many, I kid you not, I was scrolling on my YouTube channel and, my feed where they recommend all these random videos to you. In the same feed, I saw a video that said, setting goals changed my life. Just scrolling down, not even 2 seconds later, the one thing I've stopped doing that changed my life, and I clicked into it to find out what that one thing is, and it's about not setting goals. I am not joking. I am not even kidding you. It's about not setting goals. So how can one person say setting goals changed their life, and then another person said not setting goals changed their life? Who are we to believe? Both. We have to believe both because they're only speaking from their experience. They're only saying what they think is the right answer. Doesn't mean it's fact. Doesn't mean it's Bible. Doesn't mean it's the truth. Doesn't mean it's a one size fit all. So when you try to control your life, you're trying to control situations from your past experiences, when past experiences doesn't necessarily dictate future experiences. Just because you've been broken up with in the past by a guy that wears white chinos doesn't mean the next guy in the future who wears white chinos will break your heart. Just because you've been broken up with in the past or lied to by a guy that likes wearing white trainers doesn't mean every single guy who wears white trainers in the future will hurt you and break your heart. Just because one person says eating twice a day is the secret to losing weight, and then another person says breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who is right? It doesn't mean either of them are wrong. It doesn't mean you eating 3 times a day will now turn you into like 3 times your size, or you eating twice a day will make you shrink twice your size. Literally, there's so many things that are out of your control. You can only do your best. You can take all this advice, implement them, do all this research, implement them, overthink and overthink before you make any decision, and it can still go wrong because that is life. Life is so unpredictable. You just never really know. C'est la vie. Such is life. That is life. You just have to accept it. It's hard, and I'm speaking to myself right now, but you have to learn to go with the flow. You just have to, it's so hard because I'm laughing because I am the worst person to even give this advice. And I like that I'm the worst person to give this advice because that literally corroborates everything I've just said. That you should take every advice with a pinch of salt. Because I could be wrong, but I could also be right. And I can only speak from my experience and my point of view and my emotions. And only from where I sit. And that's all I can do. But I know for a fact, life is unpredictable. That's one thing I can say so certainly and so affirmatively. Anything can change right now in any moment. And as an overthinker, that's something I try to remember. I could plan, This morning, I didn't plan to make this video. I planned to have a chill day in the cafe hopping, relaxing, trying to read a book, listening to podcasts, maybe making a few thumbnails, editing a video that I've made ages ago. It's been taking me so long to edit. I didn't plan to make this, but I'm sitting here right now making this video. Things just happen. You have to give room for things that are outside of your control. You have to give room for life to happen. Controlling everything, it's just, one, it stresses you out. And two, it just doesn't leave room for surprises and fun and life to happen. You know, all this planning and running around that you're doing, that's your life. I said this in one of my vlogs where I said I'm going to start cherishing moments in my 20s because I've realized that these are the days of my life. Yeah. All this time you're spending stressing out and worrying is really wasted time. It's wasted time. Do your best and just leave the rest. Ask for advice when you need it, but remember, you don't have to take it. And if you do take it or stick with your guts, then whatever decision you made is the right decision in that moment. If it turns out to be a good one, fantastic. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. You're only human. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to get up and try again. That's what makes you, unless you want to be a robot who never makes mistakes. I am getting so much more comfortable with making mistakes or failing or doing the wrong things and just accepting that, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Just breathe in and breathe out and just get on with the rest of your life. Again, easier said than done. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're overthinking about. So I can't even give you specific advice. Common sense goes straight out the window when it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings, when it comes to, fear. Whatever it is, stop overthinking, make the decision, realize something's out of your control, realize everyone is only doing the best that they can, realize everyone will fail at some point in their life, and it's okay if you do. Embrace it. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Anjy, and if you enjoyed watching this video, check out another one of my videos. Maybe check out the one where I talked about my little journey to a lounge in Barcelona and how you shouldn't compare your life to others because everything is not what it seems. Bye-bye.